everybody, Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity, and this episode we have one of our good friends, Allie Colleen, just like Jolene, but with a C. And we haven't talked to her in a couple years. I couldn't believe when I looked back at the notes that it had been about 2 years since we last spoke to her. And when I saw that she had some new music out, just had to talk to her and catch up on what's been going on in her life and career. And if you haven't heard any of our previous interviews, you probably won't want to go back and watch those or listen to those after you watch this one because she is just a great lady to talk to, very sharp on the business end of things. And I believe she's a graduate from Belmont there in Nashville. She does come from a rich country music heritage, but she is she's earned everything she's got on her own. She's an amazing songwriter, performer, artist. I've seen her in concert a couple times. And if you saw Jelly Roll last year, or this, yeah, I guess it would have been last year, earlier this year, she was one of the opening acts for Jelly Roll. So it goes to show you just how big of a deal Allie is. So check out her music. Please, as you are listening to this, if you're liking what you hear, would you please hit like? If you're not already a Boomerocity subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. It's not going to cost you anything, but it sure helps out Boomerocity. And also, please share this interview with your friends, especially country artists or country music fans who follow country artists. I think they will really like Allie Colleen. So without any further ado, here is what I believe is my fourth interview with Allie Colleen. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care.
Hey there, Allie. How you doing?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Very good. I'd love to steal that guitar behind you there. But
It's my baby. She's retired.
uh-oh, what kind is it?
So she's a Takamine, but she ships it in the trailer. I don't know if you can see, but like her body's off. Like, can you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
she was one of my first babies. I played her forever. She was my baby.
Wore
And
it
then she
out, huh?
shipped it in the trailer, and I was so sad one day, and I couldn't get her better. So I'm gonna have somebody have to design her for me. But this is Betsy,
Ah.
and she's my baby. But I got me a honey bagel over here. It's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness. Is that a Fender?
Yeah, it's Fender's acoustic. Like it's their electric body, and it's
Uh-huh,
just an
uh-huh.
acoustic, and she's pretty cool.
I'll be darned. Very cool.
So
I'm not a musician, but I love guitars. I love looking at any kind. I've gone to when I lived in Dallas, I went to the Dallas International Guitar Show there and all
really,
the time. And whenever I was in Nashville, back when Gibson had that store over at that outlet mall over near the the showboat place. I forget it's still there. I think it's I
like
can't
over by
remember.
Aubrey Mills, like by
Yeah,
the
yeah, Opry Mills. That was it.
yeah,
Gibson used to have a store in there.
because the General
And whenever,
Jackson's over there. Is that what you mean?
yeah, yeah.
The showboat.
So, yep. So I used to love whenever I was in town, I was had time to go to the mall. I used to love going in that Gibson store because they always had some very unique one. I saw one that looked like an Airstream trailer once. I just thought that
Really?
was the coolest stuff. Yeah, yeah. But
Well, when you're back in Nashville, we have Carter Vintage now. I don't know if you're familiar or not. And
oh
everything
yeah,
in there
yeah.
is way too expensive, but I like to go in there and look around and then leave empty-handed every time.
It's Nashville's version of Norman's, right? So
It really is. Thank you for saying that. That's what I've been saying.
I talked to somebody that was good friends with Joe Bonamassa, and I asked them because I watched that documentary on Norms, and they were talking a lot about Bonamassa in there, and and they said I think the wife said that she would love to see Joe take that store over, and I thought, well, first of all, Joe's probably got as many guitars as Norm does, you know,
Right.
and, and
He
then
literally already
I
has the same thing.
yeah, pretty much. I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a mutual jealousy of each other's inventory there, but But anyway, well, Allie, it's so good to see you again. It's been a couple years. I haven't talked to you
No.
since your tattoo single came out, and when
You
I
get
saw
all the
back in
fun
this.
ones.
Yeah, I know. It's I don't know how I missed it, but well, actually, I do. I last 2 years I was my dad's caretaker, so I missed a
Uh-huh.
lot of things
I
that
respect
came
that.
by. I caught a lot, but I missed a
Yeah.
lot too. And he passed a couple weeks ago, and
Mhm.
I'm finding I'm getting my full bandwidth back. I was active in this, but I missed some things. So,
I'm really sorry about your
anyways,
dad, Randy.
well, it's he lived a full life, 89 years old. He had
Beautiful.
Alzheimer's, and he went very quickly. After once he went down, it went fast. And so, anyway, I miss him dearly, but that explains why I didn't pick up on your earlier singles. But I do have questions about them. So, where are you clicking in from?
I'm in Nashville. I'm at my house. I'm in Nashville. I live here in Nashville, and I've got me a day off, whatever that is. So I'm home today.
Whatever that is, you almost
Hmm.
don't know what to do with it, do you?
Well, in the world of content creating, I don't know how you get a day off, but I am not
You
scheduled
don't.
today. So I've just been doing horse stuff today and
Hmm.
taking a couple naps already. I'll be honest with you.
All right, good deal. Well, I will make this as painless as possible, but I
Oh no,
love your new
I've been
song.
looking forward to this all day.
Well, thank you. Big fan of yours. Loved your work since the get go. I think we first talked right when the shutdown was happening, and
Yes.
so we talk every year or so. And whenever you got some good stuff going, I always love to tap in if I can. And uh, what has been happening since tattoos? First of all, bring fans up to date. I'm sure they're probably even more up to date than I am, but
You
for those who have missed
guys.
it.
So since tattoos, well, we've had the privilege of putting out a lot of music, not like 2 or 3 albums, like I wish we could have between tattoos and now, but there's at least a handful of singles out since tattoos has came out. But we were really lucky on the road since tattoos came out, you guys. I spent the beginning of my year, um, on the Lee Bryce tour, and then I spent the end of the year on the Jelly Roll tour,
I saw that.
for 2025 or for 2024. Um, and you could not convince me it's not already 2026. I feel like everyone's so scared that it's coming. I feel like we're ending 2026, so I'm a little off also. But I'll tell you what, I know this isn't true, but what it's felt like is that we've been playing catch up for the last year, only because I got to spend last year with other people's ticket sales. And this year I've just had my own ticket sales. And it's kind of felt like we're playing catch up a little bit because we didn't get a tour this year, but we've been working so hard and putting out Back in the Saddle, I think is one of the highlights of our year so far. I love this song. So I'm really, really proud of what we've done. Kind of between now and then.
So when I saw the Jelly Roll thing where you were opening and touring with him, I thought, whoa, that's huge, very huge. And I just have to ask, how has that affected your following? Are you seeing did it impact your social media and
You know,
your downloads, your streams, anything like that?
I wanna be so grateful. First off, I was so grateful for that tour, and I was so lucky to be on it. And it was amazing. But we were very lucky to have somebody else out on the road with us that we didn't plan for. So it was supposed to be me, directly opening for Ernest, directly opening for Jelly, and freaking Shabuzi, cool dude Shabuzi, got put on the tour, and that was really cool to be around him, and his band was really nice. But arena tours, you can't push the show back, right? You can only make things earlier in the day than they were supposed to be. So we were playing when doors opened. So
Wow.
nobody saw us.
Oh,
Nobody saw us, but I did get to sell my own merch. So I sold my own merch every night, and I put a little horseshoe face tat on every single little girl that went through my line. Those arenas were filled with little girls that looked like me, which I thought was crazy. And then every single night, because we played so early, Jelly was so kind to let me come on and do like the duets that he has in his set. So every single night I would sing a Jesse Murph duet with Jelly, which was amazing. But I think a lot of people thought I was Jesse Murph. So I'm so proud of what we've done. I'm a little hard on myself because I feel like we should have tripled in size, and we didn't. We gained maybe 10,000 followers over the 20 shows kind of thing. And I was really, and I was happy with that. Cumulatively, overall socials, not one. But we made a lot of really close fans and personal fans that came back this year to like my headlining stuff and came and saw me.
Good.
So every single headlining show we had this year, I had people come going, "We saw you in Jelly and said we have to come see a show of hers." So I did see a lot of really positive stuff, but I'm kicking myself because I don't feel like I did enough on the Jelly tour because I don't feel like we grew very much. But everybody who saw us said that we had a really, really hard time slot and people were parking their cars. I had people drive for 8 hours who never even saw one of our songs because the night was moved up so much, you know?
Yeah.
And so lots of wins, a couple losses. Who cares? I would do the Jelly tour for the rest of my life exactly how it was. It was such a blessing. It was such a blessing to get to do that. And we learned so much. And if we're ever, 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 ever lucky enough to get another arena tour, we are going to be so much more better. Just prepared because we really didn't know what we were doing, and it was so cool to go out and learn.
Well, I don't know. You know, you're probably much more successful than I am on this social media stuff. I I suspect the numbers are a little, you know, doing this more than
They
being real
are.
precise, because I can tell you what I see on the dashboards of my social media and what I see on my website. To me, there's a huge disconnect.
Huge.
And I feel that way because I embed the videos on the website. So whatever plays there should track back on the dashboard of, say, YouTube or whatever. And there's this big disparity in the numbers. And I did read somewhere where that a lot of, and I don't know where in the whole thing, and I want to caveat it that I may be off on this, so YouTube, don't sue me. But I did read somewhere where they were saying that their numbers are estimates, and I'm kind of like, what the heck, And
Right, yeah. How are you estimating user interaction when it's clearly tracked? Like everything is so clearly tracked for who needs it, not for us. You know what I mean? YouTube has all the exact numbers, and you can quote me on that, YouTube. You can come to my house and talk to me about it. Because I think you guys have all of the numbers. And because it's like they're clicks. You know what I mean? Like they're not interactions, like personal interactions. They are clicks. So
mhm,
they know what they got, and they
yeah,
know it's real, and they know it's not real. My thing with my socials is if you go to my socials, I do have close to a 50% interaction rate to follower rate, and that's unheard of. So I'm really, really proud of my socials and my numbers because I work really hard for the followers I do have to interact with me. But my numbers should be so much bigger than they are. But my audience is really, really interactive and really, really intentional. And I
good.
and my fans are and they hear me whine about it enough to be like, Allie knows we need to like this post. We don't even like this post. We're just gonna like it because we know Allie needs it. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think in my case, since I deal mostly with baby boomers and turn them on to music that I
Oh,
think they'll like, such as yourself, I don't know. I think the attention span is an issue. And even though the YouTube CEO says long form is the future, short form's still rocking it. I mean, when I throw out reels and such, those numbers are so much higher than the long form. But and I will say that I have my girlfriend's son. Are you a dog lover? You are, aren't you? Because
yes.
have you
Yes.
heard of a guy in a golden? He's the guy that has the real like the most famous doghouse in the world. He built it under his stairway, and he's got the
Oh,
golden retriever.
I don't follow them, but I have seen clips of them only because once you start interacting with Bunny, who's that golden Labrador that uses all of her buttons, your whole page is golden stuff. And
Yeah,
I have seen the Playhouse Golden.
that's my girlfriend's son, and he's married
That's
now, and they've
cool.
got another golden retriever, Ruby Roo is what they call her, and Archie, who is basically a mutt. I mean, they're all, I think, rescue dogs, if I'm not mistaken. but Allie, the numbers. Oh my gosh. I
I
mean,
know.
millions of dedicated followers. I mean, it would make
You
us both
think
sick the money that he's making off of that.
you think I don't know if I bought a Highland cow today, I could have tripled my socials more than I did going on the Jelly tour. I know that, sir. I know I can. No. But I hear you, and as long as they're well taken care of those accounts, hell yeah, run the
Oh yeah.
world with all your millions of whatever. As long as you're also still taking care of your dogs off camera, which I know, I'm
Oh,
sure that
oh,
account. I know they are.
you
Yeah,
have no
they live a
idea.
better
Oh my
life than
gosh.
us. I know.
That's right.
I know.
That's
I
right.
know.
Well, tell me the story behind Back in the Saddle. This is great. I love you. I have watched you grow as a songwriter and singer and performer, and every time I hear your new stuff, you know, I think the only people that could be prouder than me of you is Bev Moser and your parents. And so
Yes.
that's
Thank you, Randy.
it's just nice to see how you're growing in that area, and I know I'll see more great things from you in the
Thank
years to come. But tell me the story behind this.
thank you so much. I my generation, so I'm born in 96. So I think it's so funny how many times I've talked about this in the last couple of weeks. Just what I'm about to say specifically. I'm very sure I'm the year between millennial and Z. I think. I think. And that's why I have such a torn personality between this kind of rude person and this kind of rude person. But so I've never grown up on albums. I had them growing up, and I think I only played CDs in my car because it kind of looked cool because my friends didn't know what they were. And you could, play CDs. So all that to say, it's like, we really did grow up even before, the iPod came out and you were able to clearly playlist stuff outside of your laptop. Um, you know, all my friends, we just did burnt CDs to each other. We all stole music and just gave it to each other, as everybody does. And so we never grew up with one cohesive sound. And I do feel like in my artistry, especially growing up in country music the way that I did, I felt like I had a very clear vision of what country music was. And then I had what I was, and they never seemed to line up. And I was always so frustrated with it. And I feel like Back in the Saddle is one of the first songs we've gotten to put out that still keeps all of the Western narrative that I want it to have and feels like Tattoos did, because there's nothing country about Tattoos. It was a
Right.
very pop, it was a pop song, and that's why we featured the producer on it just as much as me, because I was like, I didn't make this sound, I wrote this song, you know. And so Back in the Saddle, I went right back to Dom, who did Tattoos with me, and I said, hey, I want to write a song with you. And my best friend, I call him my little brother. We've been together since we were babies. He works with Dom a lot. Also, he's how I met Dom, and his name is Lane. And I've also been trying to write with Lane forever. But I don't know how well you work with family. I don't work with family very well. You know what I mean? It's just different arguing with a family member than it is just writing a song with someone who you're like, no, that's not the line. So I never written with Lane. All that to say, we just party. And so we sat down to write. I love this song. I brought the idea in. I said, hey, you guys, I want to write a song that's like Back in the Saddle, but like on a new horse, like whatever that is. And I want it to be about dating again. Um, I definitely haven't dated again, and I don't know if I will. But I've been divorced since 2021, and I
Right.
really wanted to write this really cool kind of anthem for people who are just like, I think I'm ready now. Like I want to get back in the saddle, and I didn't want to make it too personal about partners or men or anything like that because that's not what my world looks like. But I did want it to look like trying to get back into rodeo, and like trying to get back in your event and trying
Yeah.
to get back on your horse. So that's kind of what we started with. And then what we ended on was exactly what the three of us are. It sounds like Dom. It doesn't sound like me. Those the beats are crazy. The only thing I had responsible for sonically was I said the chorus has to be halftime. And this is the vocal melody that I'm singing. And then Lane came in and played guitar and added all of these really cool things. To this day, everyone asks for this song at shows, and I'm like, I don't know how to play it. I'm like, I don't even know what tuning he used. Because if it was in standard, I could figure out how to play it. I can't figure it out. And I'm like, Lane, sit down and teach me how to play this song. And so I can't play it. I love it so much. We just added it to the band set, right as it came out. We're playing unreleased songs for months before, and it's just a treat to people who come
Right.
to live shows. So it's a total new sound for us, but it's the first time that I feel very represented in all of the music that I grew up in sonically, and then also you have this really cool narrative about this 16 hand horse And no one knows what that is, apparently. There's a line in there that's
I
called,
do.
it calls them, thank you. All my Western people do. But I can't, I've had just a couple, when I say a couple, it's been enough I can count it on two hands of really religious people coming at me asking why I'm adding satanic stuff to my songs. And I said, it's a 16-hand horse. It's not, there's nothing about it's like a 16, it's like a 6'4" bad boy. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, it's not, and it's not even the devil part that threw them off. They're like, we don't know what 16 hands are, but this seems satanic. And I'm like, it's how you measure a horse. So we're all learning together, boomers. Hi, everybody. We're all learning together. So I love it, and it's actually been really, really well received. And making content for it has been fun, and I think that's why I want so badly to stay in that Western narrative vein, because I do have horses and I do have a Western lifestyle, and it's much easier to just naturally shoot that content in your life when it's also part of your days, kind of thing. So Back in the Saddle has just been a really fun release for us.
Now you touched on something, and you said from your background in country music that there's this, I'll use my word, a disconnect on how to make that happen, what it should sound like. So, with your family, and I have tons of friends who are old school country and western. And when I mean old school, it would go back to people near and dear to your heart, as well as, the George Straits and, that kind of thing. And so there's always this conversation back and forth, to put it politely, about what is country music. And so for you, I mean, you've nailed exactly what I was thinking here. There's got to be you got to be feeling like you're walking a tightrope. Not that you're
Yeah.
trying to please everybody,
Yeah.
but you do get those winds of influence coming at you from all directions, I would imagine. Is that pretty much the case?
Yeah, winds of influence. And then also, it's funny because each generation, like their country stars that like were true country to them, pissed off their parents when it came to country music. You know what I mean? Like I remember when people were saying that Willie Nelson wasn't country. And I remember as
Gosh.
if I wasn't alive, but like we've had that conversation where like, my parents at the time were like, what is this? I remember my dad talking about his dad being like, James Taylor, I don't know if that's, well, I like it, but is it country? Like, what are we talking about? Kind of thing. And I know he really stayed into a blues. Honestly, he really kind of sat into a blues vein. But country
Your
music is just,
grandfather did?
no, James Taylor.
Okay, okay.
I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
think that he was very country, but half the stuff that I hear of James Taylor, I don't think it's country at all.
No, not at
Um,
all.
you know
No.
what I mean? And even honestly, like the Jim Croce's of the world, like that doesn't sound like country music to me. That sounds like
No.
blues music. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think every generation has like their version of what country music is, and that's always kind of been the thing. Um, but I don't hear any country narratives in my country music now. You know what I mean? And I don't, and I want to keep that around. I want to talk about horses and I want to talk about rodeo because there are still cowboys are still cowboying like they always have.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now it's like kids that grew up in a neighborhood where your houses were this close to each other are understanding country music just as much as the kids that grew up in rodeo. And I just want to keep the rodeo narrative. But I also don't know a single person who rides out in the rodeo to a country song.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't think it matters so much sonically anymore what it sounds like to me. I think I fought that for a really long time. But like you said, my influences are Amy Lee. Like I loved Evanescence growing up, and I loved 3 Days Grace, and I loved Daughtry, and I loved alternative kind of rock pop music. And so to get to make music that kind of sounds like that, but talks about country stuff has been really cool for me. We put out an EP at the beginning of the year called Rolling Stone, and it's very, I would say, alternative,
Hmm.
but it's all about like my world and country and me growing up in Oklahoma and all of these different things that mean something to me that I could maybe put into a Western narrative. So I think with playlisting we can get away with it a little bit, but the feel of Back in the Saddle is one of the coolest things for me. And then the Jelly Roll tour taught me a lot about what songs I want to perform on a stage for the rest of my life. We put out this song called Outlaw, night one of the tour. It's just really heavy subs, and it's kind of poppy, but it's again, it's very Western narrative driven about an outlaw. And I was like, this is what I want my stage to always feel like, is like outlaw. So I feel like Back in the Saddle kind of sets in that vein a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm really happy with the music that we're making, and I'm really, really excited about the music that we're making going forward, because I went back to the rodeo narratives, but they all sound like pop songs or alternative country songs. Um, and I'm really, really excited. And it's such a big world of music. I can't imagine there's not a space for me.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about where we're at today. I was talking to somebody recently in an interview, and I used the analogy of back, I just turned 66 a couple months ago, last month. Gosh, time flies. But
Happy birthday!
thank you, thank you. I have the same birthday as John Lennon, but a few years apart. So, but
That's
and
cool. I
Jackson
have the same
Brown.
birthday as Soldier Boy.
Do you really?
I learned that on my MySpace bulletin board when I was a kid.
MySpace. Oh wow. No, no, that can make you sound kind of old to some others, right? So, but I was talking to him about how full circle the industry has become. In fact, I'll tell you who it was. It was uh Hollis, Jason Hollis, who has the Eighth Room there in Nashville, and this was yesterday that we were talking about.
Daydream is?
Yeah. So he's the owner proprietor of the place, and
Oh, cool.
yeah, and so we were talking about the music because he'd been in the music industry forever, and I was commenting about how it seems like, as far as the industry is concerned, when, from a technological standpoint, it's worlds difference, but from a process standpoint, it seems like things have gone back to kind of a quasi indie type of
Yeah.
approach, where
Yeah.
Southern gospel. I mean, I grew up hearing Southern gospel. My first concert was Elvis, all that kind of thing. So
That was cool.
these guys grew up having to cut their own records with, dinky labels, if they were labels at all, selling them out of their trunks or out from under the bus. And essentially that's what you artists are kind of doing for the most part. And especially how you're putting your music out there. It makes a lot of sense from a business model. And so but from a technological standpoint, it's a lot easier for you to do on one hand because you're not waiting for the physicals, you're not having to haul around, you don't have to worry about records getting scratched and things like
Right.
that.
Right.
But it's also harder to control, so you can get paid off of it. What's been your experience with all that? How has that been working out for you?
Um, Man, a lot of good and a lot of bad, just like what you're saying. When you want to have a hands-on career where you're busy all the time and you're making the money that you need to make to spend the money that you need to spend, this is a beautiful little place. And we
Mhm.
can make really good money on the road selling merch. Um, and we can go out and I can talk to every single person in a venue all night, and I can get sales that way, and I can get them to go listen to my music, and it's been really cool in that way, reaching a bigger audience than you already have, like reaching a bigger audience than friends of people that follow me, right? Reaching a bigger audience than kind of a 1 to 2 person reach kind of thing, feels impossible. Like the playlisting right now on Spotify feels impossible to get onto if you're not paying them to do that. But also, I get so frustrated about these things. But then if you literally just think about lotion at Walmart, it's exactly on the shelf that was paid for. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's exactly in the placement eye level that was paid for. It fully reflects the marketing budget that it has. You're buying it probably based off of the packaging and not
Mhm.
actually anything else. All of that is business and it's not personal. And then you
Right.
come over to music, and I'm mad that because sometimes I'm covered in tattoos and don't have a big marketing budget, I'm not landing on these certain things when it's like, grow up. That is not the case. Just let's be a little more business minded. So I'm working really hard to take the personal out of it these days, and like working really hard to think of business strategies, like you're saying, in ways that I can cut my cost and increase my income and really just grow these followers. And that is by shorthand advertising, like you're saying, like just making a little QR code, a little cards, not even business cards, but QR code cards. And every single time I walk through Nashville, it's just, hey, I'm an artist. Would you do me a favor and just look at this? A lot of people do a lot more for you when they think they need you than when you're handing out things going, I'm an artist, you're welcome. They don't care. They're not going to do
Yeah.
something for you, you know? So there is a really, really big opportunity in the shorthand advertising and personal advertising in music right now. Like you said, I can write a song right now. I can have it uploaded tonight to DistroKid and distributed tomorrow. I don't have to ask anybody. I don't have to pay anybody. There's no middleman. I can do that. Now it's not going to reach the playlisting because I don't have a market plan behind it. And I definitely didn't give it 8 to 9 weeks to be playlisted. But I was talking to my drummer. I want to say just out of Nashville alone, it's something stupid like 75 to 150,000 songs, almost a week are being uploaded. So when you think about that, that's tough. But when you think about that, if you listen to my song today, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you if you listened to it because there was apparently 149,000 other ones you could have listened to today. So thank you for listening to mine. So I don't know, man. It is tough, but I enjoy working and I enjoy figuring it out. And we have been very lucky. And there's nowhere to go but up for us. We're working really hard and we've got a lot of opportunities coming towards us in 2026. So really
Yeah.
proud, but it's different every day. And then they talk about the algorithm changing overnight. And I'm like, who did that? Who did that? Who changed the algorithm last night? And they're like, we don't know. It just changes. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, I can relate to that because I used to post my interviews on Fridays.
Ooh.
Then I read somewhere after doing some research that it's best to post them for, especially for the my audience,
Mm-hmm.
to hit it, Wednesday, Thursday, midday, and then, when all these AI tools started coming out, and I forget if it was Chat GBT or Grok, but they said, "Oh, you got to post at a different time." I was like, "What the heck?" And so
Yeah.
I said, "No way. I'm going to wait a couple weeks, and then I'm just going to do the, recalibrate and see what it is." And I swear, Allie, it came right back to where I'm posting now on Wednesdays at around noon, and I'm going to just stick with that because you know what? If these numbers are estimated, then the algorithms are just BS as far as I'm concerned. People will find, I don't think, unless I was Taylor Swift or unless you were Taylor Swift, I don't think anybody's sitting there waiting at noon on Wednesdays for my next interview. I think they see it come up when they happen to get back on wherever and see the alert, and the algorithm is just gauging and training my consistency versus what my viewers are doing.
Well, and I obviously haven't looked at your analytics or anything like that. But when you think about it, so I'm just now getting into the age and my music where I'm having to start to consider that um, most of my fans have kids at this point, no matter what the age is. So their Fridays at all are gone. Whether it's because their kids are in school or they're getting their kids ready for school, or like maybe this is a southern thing, but like for us, like football Friday is crazy. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you're participating in after school stuff for tailgating on Friday. If like you
Mm-hmm.
have a school like that. You know what I mean? Like no matter what, like Fridays are gone. And then weekends, same thing. Like there's soccer tournaments that's gonna be running from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then they're just tired and then their kids on their phone, so their battery's dead. Like whatever the case is, it's gone. I would think that on Wednesdays at noon, whether you have a job or whether you have kids or whether you're on grandparent shift, noon seems pretty settled. Usually it's either nap time or food time or bluey time or like you're off from work kind of lunchtime. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are sitting at noon on Wednesday waiting for your post. But
Oh,
I know they're
I
not doing it on Friday. So
yeah.
um also like for me, my best friend and I will sit and look at our analytics. And like for me on Thursdays, for some reason at 2 p.m., I have a really high engagement. She has no engagement on Thursdays at all. And we both do country music. You know what I mean? So it really is tailored to you. So I would encourage anyone out there like trying to make content or trying to like focus around that stuff. Listen to your friends for sure. But then go into your analytics and your professional dashboards and see yourself based off of this week, like what your highest reporting times were. And then, but you have to do that for weeks. You know what I mean? Because maybe you posted at 2 p.m. this Wednesday, and that's why that was your highest interaction on Wednesday. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's so many things to think about. But I will say, I do think that they're doing a better job right now than ever on equipping us with our information, like with our analytics and stuff like that. Whereas before, like you said, kind of with YouTube earlier, I think they've always had it. They just weren't sharing it with us.
Yeah.
But man, if you're posting at all, you guys, talking to you, Randy, I'm talking to anyone who's listening to this, you're doing good. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. I think posting is probably one of the only things where consistency beats quality every time. Like every
Yeah.
time. And that's kind of frustrating because, right, you can spend weeks making a video between filming and editing and cutting and coloring, and you post it. Or you can post videos readily made on your phone in 2 seconds, front camera, everything, just talking every single day, and you will grow an audience exponentially
Yeah.
faster than
Yeah.
you will with high
Yeah.
quality content. So if you're posting, I think you're doing a great job, you guys.
Yeah. We'll see. I think I'll crest the year with a little over 100 interviews this year. I think that'll
Beautiful.
be my biggest year yet as far as interviews are
Nice.
concerned. But some weeks are like 7 in one week that I'm posting, and then the next week might be one. But
I get that.
it's a lot of work. You have to treat it like a business. I think a lot of people
Have
just
to.
think if they walk around. I saw some girl somewhere. Um, Forget where it was. She's just, oh, it was over at the island here in Pigeon Forge. And she was just walking, holding her camera out, just smiling at it. And I was like, what is that doing?
Who knows? But she's probably
But
got
she's
more
probably worth
followers
a
than both
million
of us,
bucks.
Randy.
Yeah, probably. Who am I to
Dang it.
criticize?
She was probably paid to walk around and do that.
I want that job.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to smile too much. But so what's up for you the rest of the year and going into 26?
We have a couple of shows left for the year. I'm not sure when this is airing, so forgive me. But so it'll probably pass us by now. But this weekend, on the 15th, we head down to Port Charlotte. And we're opening for Gavin Adcock. And I think Zach Don King, if that's his name. So forgive me. But it's for the Field of Dreams Festival that's been really, really kind to me in Port Charlotte. So really excited to go back and play for them. We've got a couple things in Nashville that we're excited about. And then we get to play after parties for NFR this year in Vegas.
Oh,
And I've been really, really working hard in getting into that rodeo circuit as a representative. I would love to be involved in that. I want to sing songs for rodeo, but also write out songs because most of our writers at this point. I mean, the writers in El Salvador are just incredible, and a lot of our competition, comes from Mexico and South America. So if I could get song placements to them that they want to ride out to, or even cowboys here that they want to ride out to, would be sick. So I'm gonna go try and network for NFR for a while, and see if I can get some people to use my stuff for ride out songs because that would be the coolest thing to watch someone go for 8 seconds to halos and horns. Like that would be the coolest thing on the planet. So and back in the saddle and all those kinds of things. So we're working on that for this year. We have a couple shows posted for next year. Um, and already, and then we're going to post a lot. We're focusing a lot on private parties also for
oh,
2026 because if I can go and play, in 20-mile radiuses around Pittsburgh at people's houses, then hopefully the next year when I come and actually play a big venue in Pittsburgh, right, we can actually have a following there that comes and sees us kind of thing. And I think people think the house parties are just some kind of weird little gimmick thing, but it's like I will come to your house and sit on your couch and spend hours with you and tell you about my music and learn you, and I would be honored to do it, and so we have a lot of families that want to do that with us throughout the year, and we try and build our following that way because those people will show up for you for the rest of their lives, and
yep.
it's so cool, and
Super fans.
it's such a cool community. And I care about them just as much when they come to my shows. I also want to know how their kids are doing and how their dog was that I got to meet at their house. I remember the dogs way more than I remember the kids, to be honest with you. But and so it's so much fun. So we're just working really hard. Anyone who's interested, we keep all of our stuff all the time updated on the tour tab on our website. So alliecolleenmusic.com. Anywhere we go in anyone's area, we would love to see people out at our live shows because we work so hard. And then we've already got a lot of new music that we're working on for 2026 right now. I would love to do an album, if not two, in 2026. I'm tired of being a baby about it, and I'm just gonna get the funding together myself and start making some records again because I'm tired of making singles. So I'm excited. I'm excited for everything that's coming up for us. But we're just gonna keep working.
Well, good deal. Well, I promise you that when I see that an album or another song or two comes out, I'm not going to wait 2 years like I
Deal.
unintentionally did this year. I'm
I
just going to say,
understand.
Bev, Allie and I have got to talk again, so we will make that happen. And
Yeah.
if I don't reach out first, and you just happen to think of me and Boomerocity, feel free to have Bev slap me up the side of the head and say,
I
"Hey, get
absolutely
this set
will.
up."
I absolutely will. And Randy, I'm really sorry about your dad. But I mean,
Oh,
I think putting together all of that time to be a caretaker is really, really respectable. And I'm really sorry about your
well,
dad.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I got a treasure chest full of memories that nobody can take away.
Good.
And it was an honor for me to be able to do it. Miss him like crazy. I picked up his
Yeah.
remains today and his death certificates, and that was hard. But you know what? That's just that
Yeah.
circle of life, and I get to draw from a lot of great, funny memories. And it's we did his slideshow. You know who Tommy Emmanuel is. He's down in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Guitarist from Australia, been around a while, close to my age. And I did his slide, or had my niece's husband, he's a videographer, and put together a beautiful slideshow of his music to Tommy Emmanuel's Mountain Air. And oh my gosh, every time I watch it, boop,
Yeah.
so
That sounds horrifically beautiful.
yeah, I'm proud
Yeah.
of it, proud of my pops, and savor the moments. Don't assume anything. They could be gone
Of
in a
course.
flash. That's all I got to say. So,
Of course. Well, we look
well,
forward
Allie,
to we look forward to talking about the next release with you, Randy. Sooner than later.
yes, yes, and
Mhm.
stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll be talking again soon.
Awesome. Good to
Take
talk
care.
to you. Bye.
Likewise. Bye bye.
This has been another fun-filled episode of Boomerocity with your host and producer, Randy Patterson. The theme song is Roll the Dice and is recorded and used by permission from Quentin Hope. Quentin is spelled Quinten, and Hope is Hope. And you can find out more about Quentin at quentinhope.com. Post-production is done by Cardinal Sins Productions. The Boomerocity name, logo, and content is copyright protected. Segments may only be used with written permission by Boomerocity and/or its assignees. Inquiries should be directed to input@boomerocity.com. Copyright 2025.